Hey guys, Steve here from Blossom Racing, and bringing another video to you this morning. Gonna shoot from the hip on this one. We got a clutch in today, and I am going to run through checking everything on the clutch, making sure that everything's in good condition and not wore out in it. This is the clutch we're going to be looking at. To start off, here we got the ramp holder. Here's some brand new sheaves, and I just wanted to show you a quick, easy way to know what size sheave that you have without pulling the tape measure. So this is a 5-inch sheave. As you can see, it falls right into the ramp holder. This is a 5.5-inch sheave. As you see, it's the exact same diameter as your cover. And this is the 6-inch sheave, which sticks out about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So quick, easy reference on how to determine what size sheaves you have on your clutch. All right, so let's get into this primary clutch here. And so the first thing that you want to look at is going to be your movable sheave right here. And as reference to that one over there, if you look at this, this sticks out about 1/4 of an inch from your ramp holder. So that is a 6-inch sheave. All right, so the very first check on your sheave is you're going to grab right here and pull. And as you see, this sheave right here should move up and down. Okay, you can see that it's got a little bit of movement there. All right, so you want a little bit of movement there. If you don't have any movement, possibly what you have going on is you have your ramps are hitting on the sheave and won't allow your sheave to move at all. So you'll want to make sure that you have movement there. Any other reason why you might not have movement there is it's just bound up in there and it won't slide on your post. So that would be the only other reason. Next thing to check on this clutch before you even start taking it apart is we're going to check the nylon bushing up here in the drive hub. And it's a simple way to check it. You grab a hold of your sheave, your movable sheave, and you're going to turn it from side to side. And if you look inside, you can see the arms moving, okay? You'll probably have a little bit of movement, but if you look at this one is moving like about 1/4 of an inch. So this drive hub bushing is bad and needs to be replaced. Another telltale sign of that drive hub being bad is if you look down here at the arm really close, you can see where the ramp has actually made contact to the arm and has actually smeared some of the aluminum out of there. So that's another indication that your drive hub bushing has gone bad. So, all right, give me just a second. Let me get my camera hooked up on my little mount here, and then we'll get into tearing this thing apart. So don't mind being all over the place. There we go. Zoom in where we're going to do the work. All right, here we go, guys. So the first little tool that I'm going to use is just this. This is the tip of a splined crank. Cut it off, and I put some flats on it. The flats are so you can put it in the vise. Put it in there, and the clutch that we are dealing with is a splined clutch. So we'll set that right up in there just like that. And then I have an 1.25-inch socket on a breaker bar. Got to remove the barrel lock. The barrel lock that's in this thing basically holds the whole clutch together so it doesn't fall apart. So we'll get the wrench on there and get her broke loose. All right. So now it's broke loose. We have a little bit of gap in between the barrel lock and the cover. I'm going to grab the cover and I'm going to pull up. This one came out, no problem. If it doesn't come out because it's really tight, there's a nice little easy trick. Hold on here. There we go. Nice little easy trick is you leave the barrel lock in there, pull this off, flip the clutch upside down and grab a hold of the ramp holder, and you're just going to hit it on the table. You're going to hit the barrel lock right on the table and it'll pop it out, okay? So as you can see, it came out. Put it back on there. All right. Pull that barrel lock the rest of the way out. This one just has a washer on the barrel lock. Basically all that's for is they were trying to get the bearing center into your A-frame. So they just shimmed it out a little bit to get it there. All right, so pulling this off, we'll deal with the cover first. Let me flip this camera around really quick and we'll come right back, guys. All right, we're back. So here's the cover. We're going to deal with the cover first. And the first thing that you're going to want to look at is going to be your square in here where the primary post goes into. So what you're going to look for is like your post tried to spin out of this square hole. So what I mean by that is you can see we've come in here before and kind of cleaned it up because the post will spin inside that, and when it does, it pushes these big burrs up on the corner. So you want to keep an eye on that and make sure that that there's no burrs around this square notch, okay? The other thing you'll want to do to check that is take your post, take your ramp holder and your billet cover, and just kind of put it back together. And then you're just going to see if you're going to turn them the opposite ways to see if there's any slop in that one. There is none in this one. So the billet cover in this is still good. There's no burrs in here. So everything's good there. All right. The primary post and the fixed sheave, there's a few things you're going to want to look at on here. The first thing's going to be this little collar, this sleeve right here. So you want to make sure that this sleeve doesn't turn, okay? If that sleeve turns on this post, you got to replace this whole post. But this is a splined one, and this is actually threaded on here, so you're not going to have an issue with the splined one. The keyed post, it's not threaded on, but it's pressed on. But we haven't had any issues with these spinning on the keyed post. The older keyed post, you'll grab a hold of this and this thing will spin. If that spins, it's junk. Take it off, put a new post on, all set. Sheave wise, you're going to look at your surface right here on the sheave. You'll start getting grooves in here from where the belt's just sitting there rubbing. Inside, the very inside point right there, you're probably going to see some marks on there. That's going to be where both sheaves come together at the end of the track. Nothing to really worry about. The biggest thing would be the big grooves that you're going to get in these sheaves over time. Usually takes a few years before you start getting those grooves. So if you got some really big grooves, you may want to replace your sheaves. Other than that, the post and the fix thing, there's not much to look at. Just come in here and just clean everything up. If you want to take a Brillo pad, because your primary post will get scuffed up right here, you can take a Brillo pad, come in and just clean all four edges up on it. You know, just get them cleaned up so that there's no material on there that's going to cause your clutch to bind up. The collar right here, the sleeve, I'll usually put this in the lathe and spin it, and then take my Brillo pad and just hold it right here as this spins, and it just cleans it up. But for this video, I'll just do it by hand. By hand works just as good. And just turn it back and forth and turn that thing around and just clean up that little sleeve right there. Okay, so that's pretty much that. We'll put that back. All right, now let's get into the ramp holder. So we already talked about the billet cover and how to inspect that to make sure that there's no issues. Now we're going to get into the ramps and what to look for on your ramps that will indicate maybe that you need to replace them. So to get a better look at it, we're going to pull one out. And the main area on the ramp that you're going to be looking at is going to be where your roller makes first contact, and that is going to be on the big end of the ramp. And if you look right where it makes first contact, you can see that little shiny spot right there. So what happens is your roller kicks out and hits right there, right when you start that car. And after many, many times of that popping out and hitting your ramp, it starts to put a divot in there. Puts a little divot right in your ramp. Usually takes a year, maybe 2 years before it really builds a big crater. And then what you have happen is when you start the car, your roller engages into the ramp and then it sits in that crater. You roll up to the starting line and you hit the throttle, and now it takes more RPM to pull that roller out of that crater and then run down the ramp. So when you get a big divot or crater, ditch right here on your ramp, that is when it's time to replace them. You can take these with a Brillo pad. You know, they're going to have all kinds of belt dust on them that just gets caked in them. So there's what the ramp looks like right now. Just take a Brillo pad and just kind of shine it up a little bit, knock all the high spots off of it, get the belt dust that gets caked in there off of it. Okay, and there's that. Now, these divots on here, I'm going to test them with my fingernail, and as I run my fingernail, I can feel it jump down into that divot, and then to get out of that divot, there is a huge bump right there. So I'm going to replace these ramps. These are a 12, 30, 24. But you can kind of see that divot right there a little bit better now that I shined it up. And that'll cause a problem at the lights because your roller is going to want to stay in that divot, and it's just going to take much more RPM to pull out of that divot. So these ones are getting replaced. All right, so that's about it with this part of the clutch. I'll go in here with my towel, and there's a bunch of belt dust in here. So first of all, I'll go in and just wipe off all the dry dust that's in there from the belt, and get that all out of there, because that's kind of what causes havoc on these clutches, is just the belt dust. So to help you with belt dust, what I would recommend is using air. So in between every pass, just take an air gun and just blow inside your clutch and get all that dry dust, belt particles out of there. That'll make your clutch last a lot longer, just blowing that belt dust out of there. And I have found that the worst thing you could do is spray brake cleaner in here. Any brake cleaner, any type of liquid inside this clutch is bad, because now your belt dust is going to find that moisture and it's going to collect there, and now you're going to have a big muddy mess that's going to cause all kinds of chaos on your clutch. It's going to get caked into everything. So don't use any liquid on this clutch at all, especially inside. The drive hub bushing, if you get brake cleaner on this thing will swell up, and then at the other end of the truck, when your post is trying to slide through this, it's going to stick. All right, so don't use any liquid in there. Just take your air gun. In between each round, you got these 3 holes on the cover. Just spray it in there. Just watch out, because you're going to get belt dust flying everywhere. But spray an air gun in there in between each round, and that'll help your clutch last a heck of a lot longer. It'll keep the parts from wearing out so quick. All right. So now let's get into the meat of one of these clutches, and that is the movable part of the clutch, which has your ramps, your spring, your bushings, your brass bushing. So what are the things that we're going to look at on this? This is kind of like at the end of the year maintenance. This isn't your maintenance every couple of weeks during the race season. During the race season, your maintenance is, cleaning the bearings, making sure the arms flop, just kind of controlling the belt dust that's going to collect on this. That's your every 2 or 3 week maintenance. This is at the end of the year. You're putting a car away, getting it ready for the next season, and you want to make sure that this clutch, that no parts are worn out. So that's what we're digging into here in this video. So at the beginning of this video, when I was moving this sheave inside the clutch, and it had a lot of play in it, that is because of this bushing right here. Now, either this bushing has become loose inside the housing, or it is just wore out inside the inner diameter of it. So what we're going to do to find that out is I'm going to just put this inside, and I'm going to turn it. And as I'm turning it, if you can see it in the video, let me see if I can get a little more light on it. There we go. as you can see, the post is turning inside that bushing. So this bushing is wore out, and that is turning big time. And I'm turning it a little bit harder now to see if the bushing is turning at all, and there is no movement in the bushing. So it's a pretty simple 2 bolts right here. We're going to pull those out and replace that bushing, and then that part will be good to go. The bushing, we may need to do a little bit of work on it. I'll get into that in just a little bit. But let's move on to the arms. The next very important thing is going to be the arms on this clutch. And so if you flip up the arm and let go of it, right? You see how that arm's stuck up and it won't fall down? That should fall down on its own. That one didn't either. Let's try this one. That one did. So that's what you want to happen every time, is you want it to fall down on its own. So what this means here is that you just have belt dust caked in on this bolt right here. So sometimes it could be hard. Sometimes it's pretty easy. You just need to take this bolt out. There's 2 little washers that separate it right in here. Pull this bolt out, put it on a drill, and take a Brillo pad to it and clean that bolt up. Shove the bolt back in, recheck the arm. Out here on the roller edge, hold the bolt and spin the roller. Make sure that that spins. Roller spins, no problem. Hold on to the roller and spin the bolt. The bolt spins, so you're good there. What that does is that gives you 2 points of this being able to turn. So let's just say the roller doesn't turn, that it got caked to the bolt, okay? As long as the bolt still turns, then you're okay. Or vice versa. Let's say the bolt gets caked in here and the bolt won't turn, but the roller still turns. So then you're still good. So I want to make sure that you have both of them to give you the double chance. So make sure the roller spins and then hold the roller and make sure the bolt spins. So you're good there. Now, you can see right here on the edge of the ramp where, on the edge of the arm where the ramp has made contact with it from that bushing being bad, and it turned and it beat up the edge of this. Now, sometimes you'll have little marks on here. The little bit of marks, not much damage, no problem. On this one, that's quite a bit of damage. I mean, that really dug in, and it cut down like all the way down to the roller, and that's going to interfere with it. So we are probably going to replace these arms. But let's pull one of these out, and I'll kind of demonstrate real quick on how you're just going to clean up one of these bolts, inspect the bolts. So just pull the bolt all the way out. There's your bolt. Looking at the bolt, we're going to determine whether or not we have to replace the bolts. You're just going to walk across here and look for any notches in it from the roller sitting there rolling on it, any aluminum built up from the arms. There is none on here. There's no big shoulders or divots in here, so this bolt is still good. All we're going to do is I'm just going to clamp onto the bolt like that. Clean your bolt up just like that. I'm going to slide it back into the arm. Make sure that it spins good on the arm. Slide your bolt through. the hole here. Make sure that it spins. So everything's good there. Here's your washers. So putting this back together, you're going to slide your bolt in, put your washer on, put your ramp in, your arm in, like that. And what's the correct way of putting one of these in? These little cutouts aim down, and the reason why is because when it's hitting on the ramp and it's running down the ramp, if this was a 90-degree angle, it would hit on your ramp holder. Okay, so that's the angle goes down. So we got one in. Slide your other one in. A little tool to get it square. Once it's square, shove it through. Put your nut on, and then I'll show you how you tighten all these bolts. This will go for all bolts, even the roller bolts. So just come in here, tighten that thing all the way down, grab 2 3/8 wrenches. See, it flops up and down now. Remember, this is one that is stuck. Now on this clutch, I am going to take it back apart because I am going to replace the arms. You're just going to loosen this up a little bit, grab a hold of the bolt, and make sure that the bolt spins inside there independently from your arm and your spring holder. So now if it's caked really bad in there, you can take a drill bit and run it through your arm just to clean out any belt dust that gets collected inside the arm. Also the spring carrier where the bolt goes through, you can run a drill through there as well to knock any belt dust off. Okay. The other important place on these is going to be this brass bushing right here. Pretty simple. Just take a Brillo pad, come in here and clean it off. And we're just going to get it cleaned off so that we can inspect it a lot better than what we can. Grab your air gun, get it aired off. And then just looking in here at the bushing, it's got a couple divots in it, a couple pit marks. Doesn't look too bad. And then we're going to look at wear on it. So how I check how much is wore off of it, if you look directly at it, you can walk your eyes all the way around the inside diameter of your sheave right here, and you can see about 10 to 20 thou worth of the brass bushing sticking out. And as I walk all the way around, it looks even all the way around. Of course, I'm going to measure it later. I'll come in here with calipers, maybe a snap gauge, and double check the size of this brass bushing just to make sure that it's still good. Springs. This one has a green spring in it. A way of checking the green springs. See if I still have it up here. Nope. So with the green spring, you can take it out and check it in a spring checker, a spring tester, to see how much spring pressure's in it to determine if you need a new spring or not. Usually these springs will last a couple years. So, you're looking at maybe 400 passes on a clutch. Then you may want to think about replacing that spring. So there's that. Let's do the replacement of this nylon bushing because there's a couple things on there, maybe a trick here or there. So let me go grab a nylon bushing real quick. All right, so we have the nylon bushing. And the first test I'm going to do is on the primary post. So I'm going to put it on there and I'm going to turn it, and there is no movement in that nylon bushing, okay? And it slides up and down really good on there, no problems. So let me go grab a couple more nylon bushings because I want to find one that maybe is a little too tight. Let me grab the whole bag here. See if I can find one. Yeah, I'm not going to get that lucky, am I? No. All right, let me go grab a new post because that'll do it. Hold on. All right. So here is a keyed primary post. We'll slide that on there. Oh my gosh. Come on. When I want a problem. There we go. Okay. This one will work. So you see how this one kind of sticks a little bit? Where this one, you know, you put it on, you let go, it falls all the way down. Okay. So that nylon bushing is perfect. There's nothing you have to do. This one has a little bit of issue. It just kind of sticks a little bit, kind of hard to push down. And so you don't want that because you want this bushing to be able to slide up and down on your primary post freely. So this one, what I would end up doing is coming in here with like a sandpaper roll, a real small one so you can get into the corners and just kind of clean this up, kind of smooth it out in here so that this will slide freely up and down on your post. All right. That one's good. That one's good. But of course, when you put them in and you tighten down these two bolts, you might, you know, it might stick. So let's grab a hold of this and pull this out. Make sure it's in there. Perfect. Now, sometimes these things don't want to come out. So a little trick that I do is I'll put this, my Allen in there, and then I'll take a little punch with a flat spot, hold the Allen in, get on the bolt, and then tap it with a hammer. And 9 times out of 10, that'll jar the bolt enough that it loosens it. That'll help keep you from stripping the head of these flathead bolts out. Another little trick is if it does start wallering out the Allen in it, take some lapping compound. I'm going to tell you guys all the tricks to everything here. Take some lapping compound, put it on the end of your Allen, and then put it in the bolt of the head, and the lapping compound will take up the void space, and sometimes it'll help you in getting that bolt out. All right, so let's pull this nylon bushing out of here. I'm just going in from the back side here down to the nylon bushing, kind of hitting it on both sides to get it to work its way out. Okay, and that is how it comes out. Rock and roll. All right, so there's the old one. That is trash. Let's grab a new one. Check it. Just line up the bolts with the little notches on the nylon bushing. Perfect. Look at that. Get that thing seated right down in there. Get all the stuff off of where your bolts are going to go. Put this back in to hold the nylon bushing in place. Get her nice and snug. Nothing crazy. If I miss anything in this video that you guys want me to touch on a little bit, just send me a comment or send me a message, and I'll do another video, a separate video, and kind of touch on that part of it a little bit more. So now we're going to check the nylon bushing. You can just let it set right in just like this. So still good. It didn't tighten up when we put these bolts in, so there's nothing that we have to do to this nylon bushing. Sometimes I'll drop this in and it'll be really tight, and it'll get tight because when you tighten these bolts down, it like pushes in a little bit and causes it to get tight here. So pretty easy fix. You just come in with your sandpaper roll and just hit this edge, and then just sit here and check this, make sure that it slides up and down. All right, so we're going to slide this back in, push it down, make sure everything slides good. I'm going to grab a hold of my fixed sheave and then grab a hold of my movable sheave, and I'm just turning it. And it may not be easy to see, but there is just a super tiny little bit of movement, which is perfect, okay? You want it to move just a little bit, not much at all right? So that's how we take care of that. We will put it back on here. Put it back on my little tool. Let me move you guys a little bit closer. There we go. And this is just all for video. I didn't put the other ramp back in yet, but I will get it in. Not a problem. All right, so how I put this back together, getting the ramps all lined up with your arms, pretty simple. If you look at your primary post, there is one arm right here that goes to a flat edge on the post. If you look at this arm, it's not aiming at a flat spot on the post. Neither is this arm. It's kind of at the corner. This is the only arm that hits the flat spot right here on your post. Okay, well, why is that important to know? Because if you look in here, here's a ramp and it's aiming at a corner. Here's a ramp, it's aiming at a corner. And then the ramp that I took out would be right here, and it is aiming at the flat edge. So all you do is line that up with the one on here that aims at the arm. So put that right on there. This covers off a little bit. I'm going to change that. So I like to on these covers, if you look down in here, you can't see the ramp. So I'm going to take this cover off and turn it so that you can see the ramp, okay? Another thing that a lot of people may want to know is, let's say you want to increase or decrease reaction time. On a polar clutch, the biggest way to change your reaction time is with the square hole right here in your billet cover. And you ask, how do you do that? Well, give me just a second and I'll go grab a shim and I will show you how you can do that. So let's say that your kid's really consistently getting 100 lights, and you're trying to speed them up and you're cranking up the RPMs and you just can't crank the RPMs up anymore. So let's bring the clutch to your kid. So how do you do that? Really simple. You get yourself a shim like this, and it basically goes right inside. If you can see where I put it, it goes right inside there. Or you put it right on top of your primary post right here. And then when you put your cover on, make sure that it stays there like that. Okay, and then put your barrel lock in. All right, so how does that increase, how does that make your reaction time quicker? So what it's doing is it is pushing your ramp holder up and away from the arms. So what that does, let me find the ramp. Here's the ramp. What that does is it brings the roller closer to the very first angle on your ramp. So what that means is that it's going to engage sooner. It's going to have a shorter distance that your roller has to move before it engages. So this shim is a 30 thousandths. We've got 31 thousandths, 15 thousandths, and 10 thousandths. I'm not sure exactly how much reaction time a 10 thou, a 15 thou, a 30 thou, or a 31 thou is going to get you, because it's going to be different for every single setup that you have. So it's more of a, play around with, kind of test it and see what you get. So let's just say we replaced all these arms. I'm going to do this yet, trust me. Just for the sake of the video, just imagine that I changed all the arms already. So we got brand new arms in here, brand new nylon bushing. We measured and checked and cleaned the brass bushing. We aired it all out, cleaned everything. If you want to clean this at the end of the year, you can take this, put it into your parts washer, hose it all off, take a brush, just take a brush like this and just brush everything, clean it all up. Let it dry because you're not going to run it for a while. Let it dry out nice and good. Take air gun to it, air it all out, just to get any more of the belt dust that's kind of caked in there. That'll help you get the extra belt dust out. Okay, so this clutch is perfect now. I changed everything, new arms, new drive hub bushing, nylon drive hub bushing. We're putting new ramps in here. Now we're just going to put it back together. Just like that. Take your barrel lock, screw that baby down in. Let me go grab my wrench, my breaker bar. All right. Get her all the way down. We put the washer back in there, the spacer that this customer had. Now, people get a lot of questions. Well, what kind of torque do you usually put on this barrel lock? All right, so on our barrel lock, on a Blossom barrel lock, which is our 3/8 barrel lock, our 5/8 barrel lock. So the 5/8 barrel lock, because there's also 9/16 out there. The 9/16 ones you want a little bit less because you can break it. The 5/8 one, this one right here, we put about 60 foot-pounds on it. Typically what I do is just put the breaker bar on it, and right now I have it snug, putting a little pressure on it, and then I'm just going to give it a quick little pull, and right about there is about 60 foot-pounds. I felt my elbow, it kind of popped a little bit. I got a built-in torque wrench in my elbow. So all right, so pretty much then there's the clutch, and then we're just going to go through and test everything, reach inside, make sure that all the arms are moving. Here's the problem that we had last time, which was we would grab a hold of this sheave and turned it. This one does not turn at all. So we fixed that problem. The arm should not get damaged anymore. And that, my friends, is pretty much how you do the primary clutch. If I missed anything, if you didn't understand something that I did, if you want me to elaborate a little bit more on it, give me a shout, leave a message in the comments, shoot me a text message, however you want to do it. Just asking me to maybe explain something a little bit more, like ramps. I'm going to get into a video explaining ramps, what the different ramps do. Let's see, what else? Springs. I'll get into a video on what the orange springs are, the purple springs, the green springs, black springs on the primary clutch. I haven't done those yet. So if you can think of any video that maybe you guys want to see, just shoot me a message, and when I get time, I'll definitely get in and get you guys a video for that. So other than that, that should be all for today. Hopefully you guys learned something, hopefully enough to keep you out of trouble. So primary polar clutches, that's how you do it. I'm Steve from Blossom Racing. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Take care, guys. Be safe.